move on this. And then while we're doing our kind of like pre-check, I'm just going to check real quick with the
Like test out one of the chats.
yeah, to see if it pops up. But it doesn't. So
Hmm.
that might be for next time. At least I tried. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Actually, we are going to get started now. I think audio levels are good. If anyone
Yeah, sound all right?
yeah, yeah, if we don't sound good, you guys let us know, but yeah, we're going to jump into this. So, be right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Gundam Explained Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, which every week we talk Gundam. And as always, I'm joined by the lovely Steven from Midnight Hatter. How's it going, man?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lovely is not the adjective I would go with, but thank you as always for having me. This is always a blast. So
Lovely is like that simple positive one where you don't really feel like thinking, but it's positive. So then people appreciate it. And it's like, okay, I can move on now.
yeah.
I'm not good like you at the witty openers. I gotta get that down.
I don't know about that. It helped for the first few weeks I scripted them, and like I
Oh,
always had like a different adjective to describe like the ever popular Adam Blue. I think ever popular is the one I'm going to go with from now on because that really does encapsulate, you know, everyone loves Adam. That's just
oh,
and
well,
I've come to terms with that I'm the bad guy. I'm the heel on
I
this
like
show.
that. I feel like we've kind of it's almost like we're like forcing that, and it's almost funny in itself that like you're the evil one, even though like you're not. But I guess relatively when we talk about when we compare things, I don't know. It's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Oh, cool. Well, we see Robert Takaholic. Good to see you. Autonomous, the bad cop to his good cop. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. It would be
Yeah.
a weird bad cop, good cop. I think for a little bit, the criminal wouldn't really understand who's really bad and good. You know, it's like, okay, it's just this guy's crazy, this guy's psychotic. I don't
Exactly. Oh, it's like
know.
that cheesy line from the RoboCop remake where it was like, "What is this, bad cop, good cop?" It's like, "No, this is good cop, RoboCop." Like, oh man.
A forgotten film. It's not bad, but we didn't need it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that for $1.
And then, hey, Fulcrum, good to see you. Federation Prodigy versus the Zionic True Believer. Okay.
I'll
And
take
then
that. Yeah.
Zionic Shadow showed up and he says, I'm the psychotic one, as in he is. And yeah, maybe. But no, that's cool. Good to see everybody. Yeah, so today's show is going to be a little more just, we're going to just talk about whatever. I went to the Anime Frontier. I want to talk about that. I got some new stuff. And
Very
then,
cool.
yeah, we'll just talk about whatever other Gundam stuff we got into. But yesterday on your channel, another Gunpla builder extraordinaire, although it was two of them.
Yeah.
The
A
Gunpla
dynamic
system.
duo.
Yeah, no, that was cool. You've had an awesome lineup lately with Diggs, McDio, getting the Gunpla sisters,
Yeah,
you know.
Seiji in there for and
Yeah,
I appreciate that we kinda broke it up a little bit. It's like we had some Gunpla folks, we had some gaming folks.
yeah.
I love whenever we can get a guest on and we can kind of, you know, just hear other perspectives on stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess a lot of people, like, I don't know, you guys tell me if you think that Adam and I don't push back on people enough, that like, "Oh, well, you guys just kind of like nod your heads and agree with everything they're saying." It's like, "Well,
Yeah,
no, I'm just giving them the space to talk." Is
yeah.
like, I'm not, you guys know how Adam and I feel about everything. So it's like, why dig that out? It's like, no, I want to give the guests the platform to say what they feel and so that we can kind of have like a variety of opinions on the show. So
No, you bring up a good point because, like, on one hand, I don't like to be someone that's argumentative and like,
yeah.
but at the same time, it's fun to have challenging topics where, you know, people feel differently about it and then can get, and I feel like there's room for that for even you and I to get a little more heated, but knowing that it's just I have that thing. Again, it's that injustice complex where I feel like I have to be as nice as possible all the time, which works out.
Yeah,
But there's also gonna be fun in a little bit of jabbing back and forth, and I think we want to
exactly.
evolve into that, and we will. We
Once
will
once we get those, like, Twitter spats to come onto the show and argue with us
Oh
in
yeah.
person instead of, instead of just quote tweeting each other, that'll
Yeah.
be the way to go.
Yeah,
But
no.
I do think it's pretty cool. So, Gunpla Sisters got into Gunpla at one of these entry grade Gundam build workshops
Yeah.
at Anime North, and you, in fact, participated in a similar activity
Exactly.
at Anime Frontier, right?
Yeah, so that was funny when they brought that up and they were describing it. I was like, "Oh, that's the same thing." But you know what? Whenever we're interviewing people, I have a limit of how much does the conversation then come back to be about me. So on that one, I was like, "No, I'll leave that for later." But no, it was exactly that. So, and they didn't mention if it was the Gundam base or not, but it was at the Gundam base where they had these limited tickets to hand out, where you can then sit down and build an entry grade and keep it. And
It's so
and
cool.
that was actually a fun part of it because you got to sit down and talk to other people. Like I don't know how often, and maybe it's only been one other time that I've actually sat down and built Gunpla in person with other people. That it's I mean, I
Yeah.
considering I got into the hobby late and then COVID happened, I've never actually been in a situation where, yeah, I'm just building with people, which was fun.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
pretty cool experience.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, that's good that you mentioned that because we're gonna talk about Anime Frontier here in a little bit. But just to talk about some Gundam related stuff I've gotten into this week. So I've been playing a lot more UC Engage, even though like for me, it's like I'm not playing it because it's like, oh, cool. I'm pressing menu buttons. No, it's like,
Resource management.
yeah, man, I love this idea. It's already like zooming in, someone going, whoa, I've got 60 gems. And then like, like now you can buy 5 metal parts so then you can configure the coin resource.
Can we stop for a moment and appreciate that Bandai did drop the ball on this one, is that they should have gotten some YouTubers, you and Seiji in particular, to hop on and be like, "Today's sponsor is UC Engage, and if you sign up using my promo code, like Gundam Explained, you get 50 extra gems, plus,
That's
like, access
Wait,
to
you
a
know what? That's a good
go
idea to
full
have.
Raid Shadow Legends on it."
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good idea. It's like a Raid Shadow Legends thing, but with a Gundam game. That
Yeah,
seems obvious.
right?
Yeah. Huh. Maybe I'll bring that up. But no, so it's been cool. I feel like it's actually become a ritual. It's like right in the morning when I get up right before taking the youngest to school, I'll just jump in, do some battles real quick. I have it set up to where it's like the fastest on the auto, where I don't even do the beginning, what do you call it? Where you set them up, it's just you go straight into it because it's like for me, it's like I like unlocking the progress where the movies are and
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So it's been fun because I put less than an hour, less than 30 minutes a day into that game, actually. And you can still get some cool Gundam content out of it.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what mobile games should be, right? Is like it's not supposed to be this addictive, you know, or well, depending on your perspective, it shouldn't be this kind of like addictive. I'm going to spend
oh,
8 hours
right.
a day,
It shouldn't.
candy crushing.
Yeah, I mean, because I think they make the games like that. And I feel like there have been attempts for organizations to step in and be like, games shouldn't be like this. In fact, in some countries, the games are banned in general. And that should be
Mhm.
telling, like, for how easy we've learned it is to manipulate people's minds. Like, something like that, I think it can set, if a country can agree it's bad, I think as a world, we should agree when things shouldn't be a certain way.
Although it does make me wonder, like, if it's really that easy to manipulate someone that we can do it with a mobile device, then what is the problem with cyber new types? Like, why can't they get it right? Why do they all go crazy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's fake.
Just give Quest Pariah a cell phone, stick her in a mobile
Oh my
suit, and just fire away.
Now that's an interesting point, though. Although maybe we are seeing that a cyber new type is, someone that is um created. It's like a man-made. And when we when by hand man makes things and we try to push the limits. We were talking about before this with the video game development, like things will go
Yeah.
awry. And I think that's interesting because we see that with cyber new types. Like that almost then actually makes it even more relatable to real world whenever it's code, video game development. What was the other thing we were talking about? Something that you do too much of it. There was some other thing we were talking about. Yeah.
The cars?
Yeah, well, yeah, cars are part of it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, we invent the cars and then we push them so that then like people are wanting, oh, I need that for a job. So then and then people start isolating themselves, like going down those rabbit holes, which
Yeah.
happens in mobile games. And
And sometimes it's like you solve one problem, but introduce a couple more, and then instead of solving your solution, you put band-aids on the problems that your solution caused. I don't know if that makes much sense, but
yeah, it's like you're just putting a band-aid over it instead of like getting to the root of it. And I feel like in life, I think we could apply that to a lot of things. Like even if it's just relationships, emotional, like sometimes we'll try to like cover it up with something or and not really get to the root of it. Like what is really the root of these issues I'm having? So
yeah.
again, I like how with Gundam we can
Exactly.
always
See,
get
the
like,
problem is not that the cyber new types have psychotic breaks. The problem is that we shouldn't be making cyber new types
yeah,
in general.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, this is great. That's exactly it.
Drop Axis instead.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No, so yeah, we were talking about yeah, the UC Engage. I randomly went back to play because Talos and I were playing this a couple weeks ago. I went back to Versus,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've now figured out like it's so weird sometimes when we play video games and the names for things like a menu or set or like the single player campaign or whatever they have the different names. So like in Versus, I don't really know what I should do as a single player to like
Isn't
go
it like the
through.
ultimate mode or
Yeah, there's yeah, a mode where like yeah, you just play against the CPU and you try to get S rank on everything. I'm like, okay, now I can kind of see. I try to get S rank, use my points to unlock the random sentences. You can unlock sentences for your mobile suits. And it's like I don't care, but I'll
yeah.
unlock it. And I just realized that's another thing when I'm playing a game that, or if I'm wanting to play a game and beat it, sometimes I have to focus in on, okay, what is like the loop here? Not just mechanically, but even just, next level. What should my goal be? And then I jumped into Gundam Breaker 3 to kind of figure that out. And I was like, okay, I get it in Gundam Breaker 3, but it reminded me how grindy that game actually is.
Yeah. It's
Which
like I kinda wish that Gundam Breaker 3 had a auto mode the way that the Gundam Breaker Mobile had, right?
that is very interesting because like Gundam Breaker 3, it has a combat system where there's
Mhm.
multiple attacks, but sometimes you're really just button mashing. Like sometimes you don't even have to think about how you're fighting. And so it
Yeah.
might as well be an auto mode. Yeah.
I mean, I've told you my build is to have the Zazabi backpack, the, Kshatriya wings, and then it's just like Funnel Town. I just walk through the level.
Oh, wait, so you can have the Kshatriya wing binders and the backpack with the funnels from the Sazabi, so you have all those?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's
So
cool.
it's a pretty nasty combo, and then there's like the auto guns that are just like little orbs that
Yeah.
shoot just machine gun fire, so it's just going back and forth between activating all of those for like 30 seconds at a time, and so you're just, "All right, that one's empty, start the funnels, start the" it's
Yeah, no, it almost reminds me of Dynasty Warriors. I think that's like those games are
yeah,
very close in, like, the gameplay, but anyway, I just feel like I should, before the new rush of modern Gundam games come out, beat these latest ones. I got Code
that's
Fairy out of
fair.
the way. Um, played a lot of GBO2 SD Gundam Battle Line, so I should probably, yeah, I want to hit up. Oh, and I looked it up. So for Gundam Breaker 3, no, it was Gundam Versus. It has DLC. It's like 4.99 each suit,
Which is
which
crazy, like
yeah, because then I'm like, okay, if I wanted to get all the UC suits, I'd have to spend $45, which
mhm,
that's not bad, but am I part of a problem? That it's like I don't know. I'll have to decide what to do about that. But see, DLC goes on sale a lot, especially on PlayStation. Like I
Yeah,
think it
that's true.
was it Dead or Alive 5 or 6 where all the costumes were on sale. And I bought them because they're normally like $100, but it was like $12.
So I've never bought any of like the Smash Brothers DLC and like the new characters
Oh
whenever
yeah.
they release a new character for Smash. How much do they normally cost? Because I feel like Gundam Versus should be in that same category, but being that they're both like fighting games essentially.
That's a good question. I'll throw that out to chat if anyone happens to know, because I never heard anyone complain about that.
Exactly.
And you know what? I remember this was a while ago because it's the one that came out on when it first came out on Switch, right? Because it was the Wii U version, but they just released on Switch.
Yeah.
So that might have had all the DLC by then, because I don't remember my
Mm,
kids ever asking to buy characters. I don't remember.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I haven't played Smash since the Wii U. I don't think I played it on, even though it's the same one on the Switch.
Hmm.
Um, but I think they even had Castlevania characters added in.
Yeah, I mean they got pretty obscure with some of the characters that they were adding in, and I think that there's probably some lessons to be learned there because whenever they added a new character, there was usually something unique about them, right? It wasn't, I know that like every time they added a Fire Emblem character, they're like, oh great, another Marth clone or what, something like that, right?
Oh, okay.
But I do feel like if you had to discuss like variety in gameplay, would you say that an individual character in Smash has more variety in gameplay, or would you say that a mobile suit in Versus offers more variety?
I would say Smash.
See, that's
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was leaning to, and
yeah,
maybe that's just like a limitation of Gundam as an IP where it's like, how many different versions of a rocket launcher can you have? But,
exactly. Because you have
yeah,
the Samus going into a ball or little tricks you can use when you're falling off edges to get yourself back up, which are based on that character's IP. So I
yeah,
think you're right. Yeah, it's a limitation.
but to that end, I think that GBO2 does do a really good job of introducing new mechanics whenever they introduce a new suit.
Yeah, I like again, I've said it many times, but as a hardcore gamer, like I think Battle Operation 2 is like one of the most underappreciated games, you know. And
Yeah.
and I brought this up before because I think a lot of times when it comes to video games, you have gaming enthusiasts that are even developer enthusiasts that play the top games and they're like, man, that's cool stuff. But those game development enthusiasts aren't always playing like the double A mass appeal game
Yeah.
like Sniper Elite 5. Yeah, I'm bringing it up again because it just has really good gameplay mechanics that I'm only starting to see trickle into more and more games. And I think Gundam is there. It's more of like it's a triple A publisher, but they do them with double A
Mhm.
budgets,
Yeah.
and I think the gaming enthusiast doesn't play the Gundam games because those
Yeah.
are almost marketed as a here's something for the Gunpla. Here's something for the show.
And I think that that is a massive disservice to the game because, I mean, if you extrapolate that out to say something like the Spider-Man video games, if you took away the Spider-Man IP, is the gameplay in the Spider-Man video games worth anything? Is the game would it be
Right.
fun if you were just playing as a random, made up superhero that wasn't popular for the last 60 years? I don't think so. And so why would you handicap a the 14th most popular franchise
IP.
in the
Yeah.
world and by giving it a double A budget and by like hampering it when it's like not only is the gameplay good, but it's unique to the IP and it's an extremely popular IP. It's like that almost makes me want to double down on it.
Yeah, and you know what? It seems like there's a generational shift, and we're seeing it right now at a micro level with like live services kind of going out, depending. Like a game can do it if the game's good. But I also think that's the same with IP based games that don't like where a lot of times at an executive level, it's like, okay, this is our marketing or advertising campaign. It's not like, well, games are the future, so
Yeah.
we should actually make something that is 100% the best game that we can make that is Gundam. Because
Yeah.
gaming is instead, it's more like, well, this can help push sales of this Gunpla, or I feel like that's going to be a shift that we're going to see that because you still have, especially the gaming industry is very young if we're relative to like
Mhm.
Hollywood and all that. So you still you have these aging execs now in the video game industry who are still based on IP marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
They've
so
gotta stop listening to that Jay Baruchel marketing guy character.
who? Jay.
It's another reference to the RoboCop movie.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Jay
I need to
Baruchel
watch it.
played, like, a marketing guy that was like, "We did focus groups on this,
Yes.
RoboCop," like
Was that because wasn't like Samuel Jackson and Batman in it?
yeah, I think so.
Michael Keaton, because wasn't it where
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, like, designed the thing, but Samuel Jackson was unless I'm
He
thinking
was
of the
like he was like a Bill O'Reilly type,
oh, okay, that's what it was.
newscaster.
See, that movie
Um,
is not bad, it's just not
no,
what we wanted,
exactly.
it's
There's a
weird.
few
It's like
missteps there.
it's like a fine action movie, but
But,
look,
I think th oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, Talos said $5 to $7 for Smash Bros. DLC.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, maybe versus characters are not so bad.
yeah. But anyway, what were you gonna
Um,
say?
but yeah, I think that that gamers themselves have a responsibility as well because like you said, the more popular gaming enthusiasts and gaming influencers are not playing games like Sniper Elite 5. They're not playing games like GBO2 and so those games aren't getting the same type of attention that like Spider-Man's getting when like everyone's going to play that anyway. Like you don't need a streamer to go and
Exactly.
play that to like and same things with like Tears of the Kingdom. So it's like when I am watching, you know, gamers on YouTube or on Twitch, I'm like, well, I want to watch them do something that like I haven't played because obviously I want to see what else is out there. And so, kind of going back on that point that Seiji always brings up is it's like, man, you got to take a chance on some of these games and like just give them a try.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, especially it reminds me, like, too, with Spider-Man 2 this year, there's been a lot like, it didn't win any awards, the Game
Yeah.
Awards, not that that means anything, but it kinda does. I think what it's kinda said is there's kinda consensus within games journalism where Spider-Man 2 is like, I mean, it's okay, it plays like the first one, but
Yeah.
that's it. Like, it doesn't do anything new, it doesn't challenge you. All they really needed to do, and I can't believe they didn't do it, is make it where it was co-op. Like, that's exactly what it needed to do to be fresh, different, new, exciting. Now you can one person could be Miles, one person could be Peter. That would have been sick, and I don't know
Yeah.
why they didn't do that.
I mean, that would have been cool in like the Arkham games too, like having
Oh, yeah.
one like because you could already select your character, right? You could play as like Nightwing or Robin or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like just add in a second. And the best part about that is like the Arkham games already have that kind of camera view that's similar to that like Marvel Ultimate Alliance camera that's like slightly
Yeah.
raised. So you don't
True.
even need to make it split screen. You just put them both on the screen.
Yeah, speaking of split screen, uh, first off, Baldur's Gate 3. Have you played it? Are you gonna play it? Did we already talk about this?
I haven't, but, I think that, Goose and Sneaky Sama are trying to get me to
Oh, okay.
to
Because
to get on board with it.
the other day I was showing my wife a game, and in the first 3 seconds, she's like, "I how can you even see this is making me sick," because it was where I was moving around a lot. I think
Yeah.
it was Avatar, yeah. And, I
Mm,
realized, wait a minute, Baldur's Gate 3 is, like, turn-based and isometric. That would be easy for her, and it's couch co-op. So, I
true.
feel like I might even though I don't like that type of game, that might be something that I have fun playing with my wife, so I was thinking of grabbing it. Um,
Yeah, that would be something to look into for sure.
yeah. But, okay, moving on. In GBO2 and, I'll say moving on a lot when I don't even know if I finished my thought, so guys, it doesn't matter. No, but in GBO2 they announced the CPAX narrative Gundam. So that has been announced, which I haven't tried it yet. It'll be interesting to try. It's 650 raid, but Bandai actually sent me the high grade, and I built it. And I got to say,
Nice.
I'll do a review on it, but this is a really nice kit. And I think it was like 2018, 2019 when it came
Mhm.
out. Building it was actually fun. So I feel like
It
I'm going
was
to go off.
actually fun.
Yeah, yeah, because I feel like I'm going to go on a tangent. It was really cool yesterday where we came to this revelation where it's like we could say, yes, sometimes the building can get dull or boring. And that's part of it. Like it is fun to open a kit and get started and look at the pieces. But then sometimes as you're going, maybe some of the methods of piecing it together is not exciting or interesting. And after a while, like, I just want to get this done, you know,
Yeah,
and it's funny because I think from the Gunpla sisters, Peanut doesn't like to build.
yeah,
You know, it was Smiley that likes to build, and I think that's a neat dynamic. But then it's like when so what I'm trying to get at building this was actually fun. The way the pieces went together, it really felt like I was building an inner frame and then putting armor on it. Like
that's cool. That's
it's
always a good feeling. Like, I
yeah.
love having, like, that, because it's the same thing with, like, the Origin high grades, right? Like, you can take armor pieces off of, like, the Origin Zaku, and it like, basically all you have left is the feet and the head, and then there's
Oh.
just, like, the inner frame. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's cool because I feel like, and I almost feel like this is like a video game conversation, but for Gunpla. As I'm building the Gunpla, I'd like it to be almost like it was being built in a factory. Like the piece would have been made as one piece here, or yeah, maybe there'd be these little things here, but that is kind of canon to building a, you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
almost gamification of the building. Um,
I like that.
yeah.
Gamification of the building. And, I think that it's funny because I'm glad that you brought this up because I really was working hard on the Genobreaker, the Kotobukiya
Oh yeah.
Zoids kit.
Yeah.
I was working on that after our stream yesterday, and I have to say, I was intimidated by the number of runners and the size of the box and everything, but once I got going, like, this build is going way faster than I anticipated, and it's like it's a much more fun build than I was anticipating. Because like, sometimes if I'm building, like, a bigger high grade or something like that, a lot of times there's a lot of repetition because you're doing,
Yeah.
like, left arm, left leg, right leg, and all of those things are very samey. This thing has been just like, "Oh, man, this tube slots through this, like, tiny slit and then plugs into this, and then now the whole, like, dinosaur body, like, swerves." It's really freaking cool.
That's cool, and I'm glad you put the pictures in the Discord because you even showed how, like, the figure was articulated, which I love that. Uh,
Yeah, so I didn't think it came with a pilot because
yeah,
I looked at all the runners and I was like, "There's no pilot here." Like, but it's because unlike a Gunpla where it's just like the tiny little pilot figure as one piece,
yeah.
it has legs and then a torso and then 2 arms, and so everything comes together separately so that the pilot is articulated.
That I love that stuff so much. I'm definitely getting a Zoid here pretty soon. But anyway, just explaining how you're building, yeah, I feel like that can be a next step for Gunpla is making where the way which that could be more effort when they're manufacturing it, to be honest. But it's like when you're building it as if you are putting together a mobile suit. And sometimes real grades, I think, do a good job with that, because
Mhm.
but yeah, I think even a high grade is something as simple as a high grade could be pieced together in that way. So
And I think I've shared this in the past. So this is like this is not the construction manual, but the instruction manual that comes with the Perfect Grade RX-78. This is the old one, not like the Perfect Grade Unleashed or anything like that.
oh, okay.
So like I said, it comes with 2 manuals. One is actually building the kit. This is actually it might as well be the instruction manual that Amuro read because it's got all this lore and, like, interior images of the cockpit and, like, how the sensors work, and, I mean, there's, like, this whole
Wow.
diagram
I can't see
for
it too well. Can you move over?
oh,
Is it
yeah.
in Japanese? Or
Yeah, it's all in
oh,
Japanese,
okay.
unfortunately, but,
Still,
there's this whole
that's
diagram for how the air intake vents take air from the chest
Wow.
plates and then redirect it to the thrusters in the back. It's like, that stuff is cool as hell. Like,
Wow, that is cool. And so that was with the original, the perfect grade before the Unleashed?
yeah. Yeah, that's like
Wow.
the version 1.
Wait, so
So, I
how many
mean,
perfect grades do you have?
just the 2, just the Granddaddy and the Zeta.
And have you built either?
The Granddaddy is half built. My little brother took over. And see,
Oh,
this is
that's
why
right.
I don't build with my siblings the way that Peanut and Smiley do. Is he took over building the perfect grade Granddaddy and he lost a part. But he doesn't remember what part it was that he lost, and so now I don't know what. I'm
Hmm.
like, so something is missing in this Gundam, but I have like a torso and a shield and a beam rifle, but I haven't built
That's
the
your
weapon.
next YouTube video, and it starts, "Something is missing in this Gunpla." And you're like,
Whoa!
"But take a look with me as we try to find and figure it out." And then it ends up being a piece that you have to then 3D print and paint.
There
I
we
think that
go.
would be a great journey. I don't know.
I mean, especially with like a perfect grade, if it's something that's like in the interior frame or something like that, then I don't think anyone's ever going to see it anyway. It's like,
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
but,
man, I can't wait.
but
Yeah,
I'll
speaking
know.
of perfect grades, I have some more news on that here shortly. Yeah.
Ooh,
But, okay, we could move on. I just wanna make sure I didn't, like, stop mid-thought or anything. I think
moving
we're
on.
good. Okay. So, yeah, we were talking about the CPACs. Oh, which I should say, that video I made Wednesday, it was one of those things where Talis and I were working on the research document, and as I was reading it, in my head, I was doing it in some voice, and I just heard like 16-bit music and like an intro, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's all coming to me." So I got with my brother. I'm like, my brother's name is Sean, and I gave him some samples. I was like, "I want it to sound like this. Can you make me a song that sounds like this?" And then I just used Photoshop to make like the 16-bit star field, and it didn't turn out as good as I thought. But I even had multiple layers, and it was parallaxing, so you could see the stars moving.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but then I just took shots from the narrative anime and then just pixelated them in Photoshop. And then I was like, I'm just gonna make this weird 16-bit intro. And I think it
It
was a
came out
lot of
really
fun.
well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. I feel like that's gonna happen every once in a while. Whereas when I make a video, I'm gonna have like an angle to where I'm gonna be like, oh, I know how I could do this, which would be fun or interesting. If anyone has ideas, let me know. But uh, that's the explanation for that video. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I want to talk about that Anime Frontier. So Anime Frontier, Zionic told me it's the same company that does Anime NYC. I don't know too much about. I haven't looked into it. Yeah, there you go, right there. But I guess Anime Frontier is like a Texas thing. I guess it's Anime NYC, but in Texas. And
Yeah,
Fort Worth is less than 20 minutes to my west. Dallas is less than 20 to my east. So it was real quick and easy for me to get there. Luckily, I was able to ask for a badge. I still had to pay a small amount, but it gave me like full access to everything, which was pretty cool. Just by saying I'm with Gundam Explained, here's my links. So that
sweet.
that makes me hopeful that I'll be going to more conventions. But
Yeah,
the main reason to go though was, and you had told me about this, was the Gundam base got announced for that location, and I didn't know what to think. Like, what does it mean a Gundam base is going to be somewhere? This is my first time really figuring that out, but
yeah,
I have the video up that went up Monday where it's the winner giveaway, so congrats. But also I had a clip in the middle of when I was walking around Anime Frontier. The Gundam base is really cool. It's literally a base. Like, it's probably the most expensive uh stand up or whatever you call it that they had at the convention, because it was like its own room in the convention. I had to wait in line. The line was wrapped around the Gundam base. The line didn't take too
that's
long,
awesome.
maybe 15 minutes, but that's 15 minutes I could have been walking around looking at waifus. So anyway,
Time well spent.
no, but it was really cool because, yeah, I met a Soletta cosplayer. And then as I'm in line, some guy with a saxophone comes up, starts playing the theme, and then she starts doing the dance. I'm like, okay, this is wild. And yeah, once I got inside the Gundam base, it was really cool. It's really the stuff you see like on P Bandai, like even I think right now a lot of stuff on P Bandai. Um, but it was cool to see it in person. There was some stuff that wasn't available on P Bandai. So for instance, I got the Gundam Universe RX-78-2, um,
Sweet.
which I already have one, but this it's like it has different colors on it. It has the real type markings. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, I like that it's not bright white, it's like a
yeah,
little
ex-
off-white kind of a little more
exactly.
realistic looking.
Even like the red, it's very dull, almost pink. So I liked this, and it's funny because I'm always saying I'm not going to collect Gundam Universe, but like I got an Easy 8 the other day for $7 at Ross, and then this, and
Can't say no to that.
but it's cool because like as time goes, sometimes we look back and appreciate different collectibles more. Like people talk fondly of MSIA, and I never
Yeah.
was able to get into that line. I feel like Gundam Universe actually does a good job of being on the coattails of the Marvel Legends,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's
that's a comparable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's pretty cool. The other thing I got, which you might have saw, I did the Build and Chill stream last Saturday, and you jumped in near the end, and I'm going to be doing it this Saturday too, so I'll have to make the event.
Oh,
But
sweet. Yeah.
so I got the debris field and weathered. It looks so much better because originally I didn't
Yeah.
have it weathered, and I'm like, I don't know about this. But what I did is I got the Tamiya ink and I pretty much painted it with the ink. So not only did it fill in the panel lines, but it also then gave it like a texture in a way,
That's
which
pretty cool.
yeah, almost like a black wash,
Yeah.
and then I went in with just the chrome Tamiya paint, put it on a brush, but made it dry so that I would just brush it, along the edges and all that. And then where there was like the piping or whatever, I kind of added a lot of it.
Yeah, give it that real metallic look.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I think this is a good example of like speaking of building versus painting, how fun I had painting this. Like painting details are really fun. I
Yeah.
don't I don't think it's painting a piece is fun. That's almost like you just have to paint that piece, like if you're painting it. But when you're doing details, like on Zionic Red Rider he sent me when I was just doing the little weathering, like that is so
Mhm.
fun. It
I think
um
that that's what makes, like, painting miniatures so fun, is that, like, you know, you're almost, like, just kind of painting over the details that are on the piece. Like, you're not ho how do I phrase this?
it's almost like a free form expression, but while still allowing what it is to be there. I don't
Yeah, it's like paint by numbers, right?
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah,
there's the thing there that you are painting that is isolated from the rest of the piece that.
yeah. No, it's very interesting. That um yeah, that makes like I have those minis you sent me and I'm always thinking of like painting them. I just don't get around to it. But the other thing it came with is water slide decals for just
Huh,
damage. I think is
sweet.
great. I don't really know where I want to use this yet. It's one of those things where I feel like I would never use it because I don't know when I'm going to need it. Like in video games, hoarding your, your inventory.
That is how I feel with, like, all of my Gunpla tools, is it's like, "Well, I don't wanna use my nice nippers because I'm saving those for this kit," and, it's so,
I know I got
uh
to get over it. So my
yeah.
plan is I think I'm going to get another like high grade, or I think I might need your help on this, like the best high grade RX-78-2, which I think we talked about, which is it the one that came with the Gundam 7th parts? Or is it a different
Um,
one we were talking about?
so the best version of the high grade Granddaddy?
Yeah, because I remember we had to talk about like you were showing me one you had, and it like the proportions like looked really good compared to most, or like the details. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it was probably the one that is the, Gundam Front Tokyo.
Ah, that's right.
Uh,
That's right.
yeah, because it came with, like, the base, it's, like, modeled after the statue. That one might be a little hard to find now, but of
Yeah.
all of the granddaddy, like, high grades, or really all of the, like, 1/44th scale daddies I have, that's my favorite one.
Okay.
Um, the Origin one is, of course, great. Let me think.
Actually, yeah, the origin one is a good idea too, because I'm wanting to figure out like how I want to use these. I want to be deliberate, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking of just, yeah, getting yeah, I think that's a good idea, an Origin. Even though I have one, I'll just get another one, Origin high grade.
Or Beyond Global. The Beyond
Oh,
Global,
I've got that one. I
that
might I
one's
might do that
that is
actually.
a beautiful kit.
Yeah, that is. But yeah, I'm seeing, oh, yeah, that oh, wait, the Gundam Base Tokyo one I'm looking at, it's still a good price. It's a master grade, but $75. That's
Oh,
actually
wow. Yeah, that is not bad at all for
that's
something that I
on
don't think is
Segura, Suryuga, however you pronounce it. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So the other thing I got when I was there, and this is what I was teasing about Perfect Grade, is the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX 78-2. Um,
beautiful.
I feel like this was the holy grail. Uh, well, before it was like the normal Perfect Grade, and I remember being at a hobby town when I first got into Gundam and seeing it for 150, and even my wife was like, "Oh, you should grab that." And I was like, that's pricey. I don't think I'm at that level yet." And then never saw them again anywhere in store. And then the Unleashed comes out, a little more expensive, but then that sells out. So I saw it at the Gundam base and I was like, you know what? I gotta grab it. I'm here at Gundam base. I'll grab it. Um, so what was cool was they even, because I spent that much, they gave me
Oh,
this
yeah,
bag.
you got the
And
bag.
yeah, it has cool stuff going on here. So
That is sweet.
yeah, that it reminded me of being at a Toys R Us when I was a kid, and like where my parents were like, "Well, you can pick something," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah,
Ooh, look at the
no,
top shelf, the big boxes.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you know, that reminds me, I do need to get out to the, to the Bandai, um, flagship store down here, because I have not been yet. It's like
wow,
it's attached to a Hobbytown USA,
oh
so I
wow,
I might I might actually run up there today before I pick up my daughter, get some pictures, and,
yeah,
maybe
share them.
share some stuff to you guys.
I'd be curious to see what that's like. That's really cool that you have one, and I'd be curious what's in there. Like, what do they have for sale regularly? You know?
Yeah, exactly, because, I mean, everyone's kind of seen what the big chains have to offer, like, Hobby Lobby always has, like, plenty of Goof Customs and, the Char,
Well,
Zaku too.
okay. Speaking of the Char Zaku 2, there's one that they had there that I almost bought, and I think I kind of forgot as I was going, but it was a Sharzaku 2, and the box art was, like, amazing, and it was real
Ooh,
type marking. If you go and you see that, let me know, because
okay.
that that was a cool one, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. The box wasn't like box art I've seen for anything else. Um, maybe
Yeah.
let me see if I
I'm
can.
I'm gonna check that out. I did drop a link in our chat to the Gundam Front Tokyo, high grade that I was talking about. It's $45 on Amazon, so not bad.
Oh, yeah, that you said 45 on Amazon?
Mhm.
Dang, yeah, okay. Um, okay, so that one I was talking about might actually be up on Premium Bandai right now. If it's the same one, it's called the 21st Century Real Type version. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my god, that link gore. How can I get a smaller link for that? Um, okay, I'll have to look for a smaller link for that. But um it looks amazing. So like the shield that Char has, it has like the white outline like on it, and it has the Xeon uh logo on there and all that. So or emblem. And
Yeah,
it where it says like what does it say? Like A16 or something on the side?
A12 is
H
usually
and
his
what does
number.
that stand for?
That's a good question. That would be one that, I think either Talos or Night Captain on my server would probably know. I always thought it
Yeah.
was just like a designation,
Yeah,
kinda like, you know, like how the Black TriStars all have their number.
exactly. Yeah, if anyone knows, yeah, throw that in the chat. I'd be curious. But yeah, that okay, yeah, that one looks cool. Um, okay. So anything else I got? Something that's not really a big deal, but like this little Gumplacoon like uh thing to wear. I mean, what do you do with this?
You and
Anyway,
I were just talking before we started streaming about these types of like, um, what do you even call them? These like sort of tchotchke
yeah,
pieces of
random
merch and
collectibles,
paraphernalia
merch. Yeah,
merch.
merch. I think it's just like that's how my kids usually explain things. It's like, oh, do they have merch? Oh, they sell merch. Like when we were at a local hobby uh reseller store, it was like pre-owned toys, action figures. They have their own clothing with their and my son be, oh, they have merch, just got like a YouTuber or
That
something.
means they're legit.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh god, we're old.
I know, right? Okay, so other than the Gundam based stuff, oh, okay, so Talos is saying that's just the designation.
Yeah,
Okay. Number, yeah. I bet it goes deeper than that. I bet the A means something and the 12 is like how many units were produced or something. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, walking around the rest of uh the anime convention was pretty neat. Like there was a lot of horny stuff there. I mean, there was just so much of it too. I like
Where's my
not that I'm
bat?
complaining, but sometimes like I think of bringing my kids or my wife, and I mean, I guess I still could, but like just eh, there was a table that had a butt on it. I didn't go to that table because I don't know what you were supposed to do there, but I was just like, why?
Allegedly, he allegedly didn't go to that table. Um, no, well, it's funny because I was actually wearing this, Anime NYC shirt out one day, and a cashier was talking to me and was like, "Oh, did you go there?" And I was like, "No, my buddy bought me this shirt," and he was telling me about, well, a friend of mine, her son watches anime, and she didn't know that there's like different kinds of anime, and she bought him a DVD that was a little bit more graphic than she was expecting. And I was like, yeah, maybe we don't in the anime culture delineate quite clearly enough what is
I, I, I agree.
adult content.
There's something interesting about that. And again, I'm not like complaining, but it's more of like
Yeah,
something to be aware of, I think, and to be able to easily communicate to people that want to get into anime. Like it's easy to stumble into this rabbit hole of anime where it's all about the horniness. Like hey,
yeah.
guys and girls, like how they're drawn in sometimes they're animals, and then it's like, what?
It's just
And
something to be aware of because you don't wanna be caught off guard by it, right? It's not like it's
yeah,
not you and I are not trying to shame anybody or say that,
no.
like, it doesn't belong or something like that, but yeah, it's like, you know, think twice before you walk down certain aisles at an anime convention with your kids.
Yeah, and what anime you want to buy for someone. Because if you're trying to get someone in anime, you might want to watch out, what you're showing them, or maybe that helps depending on the person. Uh, but the one cool thing about it though was how many people were in cosplay. It was like
Yes.
I felt like I was underdressed, to be honest, because there was just so many people in cosplay.
That's one thing that, like, anime conventions just dominate, like, comic book conventions and, like, other Western entertainment conventions. You go to, like, New York Comic Con, and you'll see, like, a handful of, cosplayers, but a lot of times what you get is this, like, "Oh, I'm casual Spider-Man, like, I have a Spider-Man mask, but I'm just wearing a hoodie,"
Oh
and,
yeah.
like, stuff like that where it's, like, it's low effort cosplay, right?
But by the way, that is actually really Spider-Man. He's
It's
just no.
truly Spider Yeah, I think, one time I went with a friend of mine, and he's, like, a professional cosplayer, and he went as, like, Peter Parker, but, like, half dressed, so it was like
Yeah.
he had, like, the top on, but he had a jacket on, and he had his camera, like, his DSLR, so there was that, but, like, you go to an anime convention and you're going to see people in like full size Gundam suits and
Yeah.
like all kinds of crazy props, giant scythes and stuff like that.
The thing I
It's
saw a
awesome.
lot that seems to be popular is like the Victorian era look. Like in a lot of Japanese anime tends to that regal, like ancient, not ancient, but like old school European, like regal ballrooms. And then there's the girls with the giant dresses and like the bonnets or whatever. Like they go all out with that
They
stuff.
do.
It's interesting how like cyberpunk Victorian era stuff can be like its own scene, like it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's part of that, like, alt history stuff,
Yeah,
where there's,
yeah,
like there's cyberpunk, there's steampunk, there's cassette punk, there's, like, all these
oh yeah,
different punk,
yeah,
histories. I love them, though, they're fun.
yeah. No, it's very cool. And then other than that, like I feel like the Anime Frontier thing was like a bigger convention compared to things I've seen or heard of. Like Bandai Filmworks had a thing going on there, but nothing Gundam related. They there were like cars. If you guys saw the video, cars were just like in there. Like that's the logistics of getting a car inside a hotel or whatever, convention center. Is probably a pain. So no, that was pretty cool. I can't wait to find out when the next convention is coming out around me because I'm gonna go do the same thing where I just walk around, just make jokes while I'm recording. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's about it for for that. Other than that, those were the main topics. Anything else to bring up? I know we got some time left, but
Yeah, I mean, there we definitely need to entertain the idea of, doing a, meetup at like, a more formal meetup, I think, at a convention,
yeah,
and I don't know if the answer is doing something, like, equidistant between Texas
yeah,
and Virginia, or if we just, like, say, "Screw it," and we go Anime NYC like Zeonic Shadow says, but I think it would be really cool to, yeah, to be a part of something big like that.
yeah. I want to get suggestions from people if anyone wants to like post or message me. I'm trying to figure out where the best places to go. Yeah, what's kind of an area where a lot of people think can join up because I don't mind
Yeah,
flying out if I have
and
to
it
somewhere.
and if we did do, like, a booth or something, like,
Yeah.
what would we do? Just, like, sit there and, like, record a live version of of the Midnight Hatter Live and the Gundam Explained show while
Yes.
we're there? You're
Yes.
like, "Yes, obviously that."
Yeah, for one, and then another one would be cool to, like what's something like it would be cool to have like stickers to just give out there, but also like why
Are
would
you talking
someone
about
else
merch?
merch? That's all. Yeah,
We'll
that's.
show up with merch, yeah, that's
But what's another thing that could get people excited? Like, what if we do a raffle or something? You don't have to pay; you just come and pick up a ticket, and then yeah, that
yeah,
just to get people
absolutely.
to come by and have QR codes everywhere so you can scan and subscribe. Or I don't know.
Exactly. That's the big one is, no, but yeah, if you guys have ideas, drop them in the Discord
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, I think though, compared to WeebCon, Anime Frontier was a lot more. Although I did go on a Friday afternoon when maybe a lot of people are at work, but it was a lot more chill. Like it was crowded, but it wasn't overcrowded. Um, so yeah,
yeah.
that because gaming conventions I haven't gone in a while, but in like the early 2010s started getting way too packed, and there was no room for anything.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm glad that, a couple years ago, because New York Comic Con and Anime NYC used to, like, team up and rent out the Javits Center, and it just got to the point where, like, you had panels that were, like, spilling out into, like, neighboring buildings. I remember one time, I was up there and there was this panel that we wanted to go to, and it's like, "Oh, well, what, exhibition hall is it in?" And it's like, "Oh, no, it's actually, like, 2 blocks away. You have to, like, leave the
Uh,
convention and go to this other location." I was like, "Yeah." So,
that's
um,
annoying.
I'm glad that Anime NYC is their own thing now.
That's cool. Yeah, that might be the thing to go to then next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, that does it. Thanks for everyone that tuned in. Podcast version will be up later. Check the links in the description for the supporters. A certain tier have links to their stuff, but also Midnight Hatter because live stream there on Wednesdays.
Yeah, thank
Um,
you, thank you.
and it's been a lot of fun. Like the his recent live streams where we're interviewing people have been a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna top these last few guests, honestly.
yeah, I know it's been great. So well, cool. Everyone have a good weekend, and we will talk later. Peace out.
Yeah.